Masters of time, supremely talented individuals who create unique timepieces. Unaffiliated with any manufacturer, they are known as the independent watchmakers. Watches are, in some ways, small universes. This work embodies that belief. It's called Midnight Planetarium. This wondrous watch recreates the movements of the planets in our solar system. The Sun lies at the center, surrounded by 6 planets. The planets move at the same speed they circle the Sun. It takes the Earth 1 year to complete the rotation, and Saturn 29.5 years. Our solar system's sprawling size is condensed into a watch face measuring just 4 centimeters across.
It's like you're wearing the universe on your wrist. We entrusted the realization of the complicated movement to Christiaan van der Klaauw, the world's greatest maker of astronomical watches.
Christiaan van der Klaauw's workshop is located in Heerenveen, about 95 kilometers northeast of Amsterdam. Inside this canal-side building, van der Klaauw and his staff assemble their creations. He's been making astronomical watches for more than 4 decades. This is Orion. The celestial map on the face rotates. It's an accurate representation of the stars that can be seen in the sky every night. In 2012, van der Klaauw unveiled the real moon Yaure. Its main feature is this silver orb, which spins slowly to represent the phases of the moon. It is overwhelmingly accurate, with a deviation of only 1 day in 11,000 years.
Astronomy started as a hobby, but I soon began pouring this passion into watchmaking. Astronomy has always been inside me. Watchmaking is astronomy.
Van der Klaauw's love for astronomy was sparked during his days as a student. While studying at a technical school, he visited Leiden Observatory, one of the oldest in the world. Day after day, he measured the distance between the stars using a telescope. By the time his 3-month training stint was up, he'd fallen in love with astronomy. And as van der Klaauw's interest in space grew, he decided to make it part of his profession by becoming a watchmaker. This is Franeker, a town in northern Holland. It's the home of another place that has helped to stoke van der Klaauw's creative fires. In a private house, a map of the solar system spreads out on the ceiling of one room. It's 4 meters in diameter. And it's tracked the movements of the planets ever since it was created at the end of the 18th century.
It's an amazing work. You can observe the movements of the planets. You're looking up, so the solar system revolves clockwise.
This is the Sun and the Earth. The other planets are closer to the ceiling. They circle at an imperceptibly slow speed. The planetarium is powered by a mechanism behind the ceiling. It was made more than 200 years ago, and it still keeps time to this day.
You can see Saturn there. It takes 29.5 years to complete one circle. Our lives last for 3 of Saturn's rotations. Compared to the universe, billions of years old, human life seems so fleeting.
Van der Klaauw recreated the planetarium in this small watch. The bowl-shaped section shows the orbits of the planets in our solar system. It's merely 12 millimeters across, but it represents an area of space 2.8 billion kilometers in diameter. This watch really does contain the universe. And it all started with a vision that inspired one of the world's most renowned watchmakers. Christiaan van der Klaauw's work reminds us that we exist anchored within the vastness of space and time. This stripped-down creation stands out in the world of wristwatches. It has no hands or numbers to indicate the time. The large tourbillon in the center of the face just ticks out a rhythm. No seconds, minutes, or hours. Only the beautiful sound conveys the passage of time. This is Thun in central Switzerland, a picturesque town that seems straight out of the Middle Ages. The watch was brought to life inside this hilltop house. It's one of the creations of independent watchmaker Haldimann. His family has been making watches since the 17th century. He says his creative philosophy is based on helping the busy people of today reclaim some of their time.
Rather than displaying the physical time, I feel that it is more important for a watch to help you find your own rhythm. We should focus on the now and forget about what time it is. Then we can get in harmony with our surroundings. That would be my ideal.
To turn that goal into a reality, Haldimann focused on the sound the watch would make. In 2003, he unveiled the H1. Tourbillons are usually placed inside a watch, but Haldimann designed the H1 to show the tourbillon floating in the center of the face. He did this because he wanted to set the pulse of the watch free, allowing it to resonate within the glass dome. Each part of the watch emits a specific sound. And as those sounds blend together, they create something Haldimann calls the singing voice of time. Haldimann redesigned the movement from scratch to allow this song to resonate louder. At the back of the watch are parts known as barrels. They house the mainsprings that drive the watch. Most watches have one barrel, but the H1 is equipped with 3 in order to give the tourbillon a powerful kick. The tourbillon itself is less than 3 millimeters thick. It needed to be extremely thin so it could float in the limited space of the watch face. This assemblage and fine-tuning is an extremely elaborate task.
You have to put the tourbillon together like you would a sculpture. This is a complex structure with multiple layers. It's like building the Eiffel Tower. The movement and the tourbillon are both less than 3 millimeters thick. Putting these together is a task that tests the very limits of what a human can do by hand.
But how does Haldimann ensure the completed movement sounds just the way he wants? He devised a unique way of testing it. He uses a violin, and he presses the movement against the instrument to amplify the resonance. If it fails to make the sound he wants, he reassembles it one more time.
The high sound goes and the low sound goes tick-tock, then again. It sounds like it's singing a melody from the high notes to the low notes. And the beat goes to talk, then It all creates a beautiful melody.
Haldimann's insatiable drive to explore the melody of time has propelled the evolution of his watches. The watch face of the H8 has no hands or numbers. The concept of this work was a sculpture of time. In 2012, he revealed his most radical piece, the H9. The entire watch face is covered with jet black glass. It imparts no physical information. The wearer can just hear the singing voice of time.
What interests me is not the hard physical time displayed by the watch we wear on our wrists every day, but rather the harmonious melody of the pulse. It's one that connects directly to our hearts. The sounds of my watches are trying to create harmony in our hearts.
In der Mitte.